Welcome everybody to Cooking with Poppy.
Today my granddaughters and I will be showing you how we made this delicious hearty
beef stew.
Please leave a comment to let us know what you think, and most importantly,
like and subscribe
to our channel. So let's get started, shall we? First, we're going to season the flour that we're going to toss the beef in. So let's start with a half a cup of flour, a tablespoon of
paprika,
and add, let's go, a teaspoon of pepper and a teaspoon of salt. Let's give that a quick stir. And we're going to move on to chopping some vegetables. Today we're going to use half of a white
onion,
4 carrots, and 2 stalks of
celery.
Let's move the onions and carrots out of the way so we can get started on that.
Celery.
Now it's time to peel those carrots. Now we're going to chop the carrots into bite-sized pieces. Next, we're going to chop up 1/2 of this white
onion.
Always leave the roots. Chop off the stem. Now it's going to sit flat and it will be stable to cut. We'll give it a quick peel. And then we're going to dice this onion. Let's take 3 strips of hickory smoked bacon and cut it into small pieces. Bacon is going to add an extra savory flavor to the stew. Here I have a 1.5 pound chuck roast. I'm going to trim a little bit of the fat off and cut it into bite-sized pieces. Let's take a little bit of this fat off right here. Next, we are going to toss all of our beef chunks in our seasoned flour. This next part is a very important thing to remember. Make sure your lid is snapped on tight. Then you just simply roll your container. Once all the beef is completely coated in flour, just set them off to the side. I'm going to get these last few out and do a little cleanup, and we're going to start cooking some stew. I've got my Dutch oven on medium heat. It's time to start frying off this bacon and getting some of that fat rendered down. The bacon is frying up nicely. Fat's starting to render down. The house smells really nice right now. Well, the bacon is all cooked down, so I'm going to take that out of the pan. Now we're going to add just a little bit of
olive oil
to the bacon grease. Now we're going to sear our beef in our oil. Leave space between them. You don't want them too crowded. And once you get a nice sear on them, something like this, I'm just going to go ahead and flip them over. Try to get as many sides seared as you can. More sear, more color equals more flavor in your stew. Just keep searing the pieces until you get it all done. It is a little time consuming, but so worth the effort. You should try to keep your pan centered on your cooktop instead of doing it the way I'm doing it. Let's take these last few pieces out, and then we will saute our vegetables in this wonderfully flavored fat. Starting with 1/2 of a white
onion,
Next, add your 2 stalks of
celery,
Then I'm going to add a 1/4 cup of
mushroom,
Going to get them all stirred together really well. And then I'm going to salt the mushrooms a little bit, try to draw out all the moisture. Now we are going to cook these down for about 5 minutes until they get nice and soft. Now I'm going to mince 1 large garlic clove into the pot. And let's get that stirred in. Now I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of a really nice
tomato paste,
2 tablespoons of flour. This will help really thicken up your stew. We'll get this all mixed up and we're going to cook this for 4 minutes. That will get rid of any raw flour taste in your stew. Next, let's add 1 cup of red wine. This is going to add a lot of flavor and depth, and it's going to deglaze your pan for you, so start scraping the bottom, getting those good bits off the bottom now. Once the bottom of your pan is nice and scraped, then we're going to go ahead and add 3 cups of
chicken stock,
Now we're going to add 1 tablespoon of Who's Your Sister sauce, sometimes known as
Worcestershire,
sauce, and we can give that a quick stir. Put the beef back into the stew. Add 2 bay leaves, 1 tablespoon of Italian seasonings. Now bring your stew up to a full boil. Then turn your temperature down to low and bring your stew to a nice slow simmer like this. Put the lid on and cook it nice and low and slow for 2 hours. While your stew is cooking, it'll give you time to wash and cut up your potatoes. I'll be using about 1 pound of potatoes, and I'll just chop them up into a nice bite-sized piece. After cooking for 2 hours, we're going to add the carrots and the potatoes, and of course the bacon because, well, it's bacon. And then we're going to give this all a big quick stir. And now we're going to cook it uncovered for about an hour. We want the potatoes to be soft to the fork, and the meat's just going to fall apart. After an hour or so, your stew should look like this. And that means it's lunchtime. And that's how we made this hearty beef stew. We hope you enjoyed our video today. And as always,
Thanks for coming, everybody.
I think I need a nice piece of bread with mine.